Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Juggernaut, and these will be my, well, first impressions-ish, early impressions, let's call them, of Silent Hill 2, the remake. Now, a long-anticipated remake, and a real remake at that. A real remake, not just a reskin or an HD update for the original, or, just some half-baked sort of stuff. Okay, that's a bit creepy. No, a real, proper remake of the original Silent Hill 2 from, well, my youth, so you can imagine, quite a long time ago. Well, I say that, I wasn't really old enough to play it when it initially released. I remember trying the game probably... Okay. Probably a few years after its release, and then one of the reasons I never really got that much into it was the camera. Now, at the time, of course, there was a very deliberate design decision to why they made the camera the way it was, and it's been rather iconic, I would say, for the... Good. Stay down. I think it's been rather iconic for the whole series, really, that sort of a camera angle and everything, but to me, it just never really made a lot of sense. I didn't like the way my character would sort of wander off frame. I liked the freedom to, run around and explore the area and stuff like that. Unfortunately, wasn't really a thing. I think Resident Evil came out with similar camera angles and stuff, and yeah, it wasn't really my thing either. But that kept me away from some of the Silent Hill games. On the other hand, once they transitioned into, once horror games generally transitioned into either first or third person like this, that was a lot more my speed, and I'm happy to report that Silent Hill 2, in terms of being a remake, is damn near perfect. So, first and foremost, the game's absolutely bloody gorgeous, as I'm sure you can't see right now, because I'm in the middle of, well, a void, what it seems like, especially on YouTube, because it's going to be a little bit darker on your end as well, but the mist is as atmospheric and as creepy as ever, with the things moving around and, generally being scary inside it. But look at the reflections on the ground, for example. Look at the lighting, the atmosphere, generally, my character as well. I mean, beautiful. He is injured. He looks genuinely injured. The animations, everything, wonderful. Why is it not a perfect remake? Well, we'll get to that in a little bit, but the long and short of it is the performance is a little bit here and there, although, mind you, I am testing it to the extreme, so yeah, generally speaking, the game performs relatively well. The one thing I don't like is that on very high resolution, when you turn everything up, it should perform, I think, a little bit better, and there are a couple of nitpicks here and there about the movement and so on and so forth, but I'll get to that in a little bit. Like, I think the rating for the game, community rating for the game on Steam was it 95 or 96% positive or something like that, and the game absolutely deserves it. Now, let's go into the options first, and I will talk about a few things. One about remakes in general, and how we're having more and more of them, and perhaps too many of them, and I think a lot of us are kind of sick and tired of them because so many have been poorly executed. This one's a shining example of the opposite, but I also kind of want a Silent Hill sequel, not just endless remakes. But anywho, not just Silent Hill, like other games as well, but anywho, that's for later in the video. For now, let's go to the options menu, because I think this is a prime example, and really, this should be used as a tutorial, and a shining beacon for how remakes should be done, graphically and in terms of the options. So first of all, like I said, game's really gorgeous, but let's start with the gameplay options. You have you can change the combat challenge of the game, so difficulty, 3 difficulty levels for both puzzles and combat, separate. Interface present with all kinds of options if you customize it, and then obviously you have the mask, which is pretty hilarious, but you know, for now we're sticking with this. So, reticle visibility, off, minimal, dynamic. Look at that. So you have essentially, both in terms of the reticle, the HP, the ammo display, and then icon visibility, stuff like this, interaction icon size. You can change all of these things to suit to your style, right? Do you want a more immersive, less, how do we put this, like, less button and prompt forward UI with just, you know, very little elements there for you? Or do you want a more modern game with more quality of life improvements, such as telling you what to press when you get attacked and so on and so forth? So all of these things work really, really well, and I think for a remake of this type, I guess, especially considering it's a fairly old game and some of the conventions have changed from then to now, I think adding a ton of different options for both the reticle color, for, you know, the size of it, the presence of it to begin with, all the different UI elements, I think that's bloody amazing. I love that. But it goes beyond this. So you go over into display settings, and I had to tweak things a little bit. I'm playing in 4K with full screen HDR off, VSync on, and I've turned off super sampling. So here's the thing, without super sampling, without FSR 3.0, the game doesn't perform that well. I had to turn down shadows, I had to turn down particle effects a little bit to make the game a little bit nicer and a little bit more smooth and fluid. We're going to get to that in a little bit. We're going to test things out in general here. But first of all, global mode motion blur disabled. Graphics mode, 90s and default. And then obviously colorblind and accessibility options are there, but then you also have this. And then you also have this. And then you also have this. All of these are just more, they're sort of more gameplay elements than they are, how do I put this, like, graphic elements, even though this is the graphics menu, right? And then audio, tons of different sliders for pretty much everything. I'm going to turn on the radio indicator, I think it's a bit quiet and I'm going to be talking a lot so I won't be able to see it. Audio profiles, audio devices you can switch. It actually recognizes all of my audio devices, and I have an incredibly complicated audio setup, so props to the game for doing that. Like really, really good audio settings. Controls, language, and more accessibility options in general, and that's it. So, phenomenal graphics options, gameplay options, everything. Love it. Now, let's get over to the visuals, which I've already mentioned briefly, but this is more or less, this is 4K recorded, so it's going to be tuned down to 1440p for YouTube, so it's not going to look as pretty, but generally speaking, it's beautiful. The one thing I think I appreciate the most is right, that's how we do it, okay. Oh, no, 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 please, no, I don't have the health to fight you. Okay, can I... help? Help? Medical? Right, health potion. Okay, now I can fight you. Or can I? Tell you what, how about you come outside and we can fight? Yep. Yes! just cease to exist. Whew. Okay, lovely. By the way, the game is, from what little I can remember of Silent Hill 2, pretty much the exact same town, the exact same story, the exact same everything, apart from the fact that it's a little bit better now. Visually, in terms of the quality of life improvements, in terms of, like I mentioned before, the camera, and all of these things, the game feels just a little bit nicer and more pleasant to play. But not only that, the game keeps the old saves file system as well. So, I was a little bit scared by Neely's Bar logo coin. Okay. I'm gonna be honest with you, I was a tiny touch scared. Let me just figure out the button for this. Right. I was a tiny touch scared by the plethora of noises coming out of the cafe when I picked up the coin that I didn't really pay attention to what kind of coin I exactly picked up. Okay, so we're going this way. I'm kind of in two minds about going back a little bit to the very beginning of the game, because I want to show you the very start of the game where you have a little bit more nature, a little bit more mud, stuff like that, and show you just how gorgeous the game is, because, I mean, here it's good, don't get me wrong. It looks pretty. But I reckon that at the very beginning where you had trees and forests and stuff like that, and I think the start of the game with the parking lot is incredibly iconic for Silent Hill. I think in that place there you really experience just how stunning the game is graphically. Whew. Alright, so that's out of the way. Now, Christ, there's more of the sodding things. Can I please save the game somewhere? Okay. I think. Correction. I thought I could get away with just 2 attacks. Not have to worry about things too much. Okay. Where was that save point? I think it was somewhere around here, wasn't it? Who needs a save point? Let's not break the flow of the gameplay. So, in terms of it being a remake, like I said, perfect. There's very little I want from a remake that isn't already here. Okay, that's break the window, please. I thought there was something inside. Sod off! Sod off, I said! Sod off! Sod off! Stop it! Stop it! I'm trying to do a YouTube video, I'm trying to showcase the game, stop it! Okay. Good, there we go, he's done. Now, what is my small nitpick about the game? Very small. It feels a little bit sluggish. And I tried lowering the resolution, the graphics, and everything. It feels a tiny bit sluggish. I'm going to try and explain it as best I can. So, I'm playing this on controller on a TV, but I tried it on mouse and keyboard, I tried everything. It still feels, like there's slight differences, but the overarching problem is still kind of similar. I think this was sort of the case in the original as well, so you could argue that, they're just sticking true to the original game, and, don't want to reinvent the wheel too much and so on and so forth. I respect that, fine, but it is my job to tell you that Let's say you want to walk right. So, listen. There's a delay. There isn't a delay in terms of input delay, like from my controller to the game. There's a very deliberate delay installed within the movement of your character itself. Like I said, I tried this on keyboard as well, so I'm going to do that right now. Thankfully, you know, mouse and keyboard and controller is interchangeable completely, especially if you have Xbox controller, so you can just switch from one to the other. Sorry about that. Okay, now, I'm going to get out the loud keyboard here as well, so you can hear it. Listen. There's a delay. It's slight, it's not really easy to detect, but once you start playing, and once you start fighting things, and dodging and stuff like that becomes important, yeah, there's a bit of a delay. And you get used to it, it's not the end of the world, but sometimes when you really quickly want to do something, it becomes a bit annoying. So, and oddly enough, it's just with the movement. I think combat is a little bit better and a little bit snappier, and by combat I mean like just the act of shooting or hitting stuff. So if you want to swing the bat, I think the animation begins pretty much the same instant that you click. What's really, really noticeable is the map. So when you pull out the map, when you click the button to pull out the map, it's instantaneous, like zero delay. But when you want to walk, for some reason, it's a little bit slower. Now, you could say, oh, Juggernaut, that's just because you're injured. No, it wasn't. It was the same before I got injured as well. It's there sort of from the start of the game, and yeah, I mean, I don't mind it. It's not the end of the world. It's fine. It's not a big deal. Like I said, you get used to it pretty gosh darn quickly. But at the same time, it's a bit, you know. Anywho, I'm going to... Nothing on the other end as well. All right, I'm going to read this later off camera, because I want to save the game here. Sometimes finding the exact angle that you need to stand in order to click the save game button is also a little bit iffy. You're going to need to, you know, like move slightly around, move the camera as well to find it for some certain things. Again, the smallest of nitpicks, but visually, atmospherically, not just in terms of... there was a hole here now. It's gone. Okay. Like I said before, oh, this could be potentially... No, it's just a jukebox. Never mind. Thought it would be significantly more terrifying. Okay, so... Broken vinyl record. Right. Oh. This down and then grab this and then... But of course, I think the problem is I need... Yeah, that's not going to work. I think the problem is I'm going to need a vinyl record that isn't broken, or the other half of this vinyl record. And then try and play it, right? Yeah, well, that's not going to open it. Don't really know why I tried. That's, in retrospect, seems very stupid, but never mind. Tell you what the problem with these kinds of games is? Every time you make the slightest bit of progress, you want to save again. It's inevitable. I put the combat and puzzles on standard, by the way, for a first playthrough. I don't. I have no idea what kind of expectations I was going to have from the game. I don't know how difficult it was going to be. Generally, older games tend to be a little bit more difficult on the combat side of things. Puzzles too. The game doesn't really handhold you, and here it's the case as well. So, like I said, it's a lot like the original in all those respects. Just, you know, looks better, feels better, has some quality of life improvements, but isn't dumbed down, which I will talk about in a second. Just gonna be careful here. Okay, so I believe that there is a temptation for gameplay designers, I suppose, even though that's probably not the word, but like for people that are in charge of the actual UI elements and the gameplay design and everything, not just like developers as a whole, but specifically for those people that are in charge of that, to make a game that's a little bit too hand-holdy in modern terms, especially for modern audiences, right? And so the map here is a very immersive way of letting you know where you're going and what you're doing and all those things, but at the same time, if I put down a map, you'll notice that there isn't a giant quest marker in front of the screen telling me I need to go over there. This game doesn't need that. All it needs is the sodding mist and the monsters, and you can remove this vignette if it gets annoying. By the way, I've been injured for a while now, so it's kind of starting to annoy me, but anyways, it's customizable. It doesn't need giant quest markers. It doesn't need everything to be painted in yellow to let you know that you can interact with it. Sometimes a bit of exploration goes a long way. And here I think it definitely showcases that, especially from the very beginning. You get just thrown into the game. It doesn't tell you anything. You get thrown into Silent Hill. You have a vague idea of what you're here to do. You know, you're here to find your wife. Certain things are circled on the map. So, for example, the Groovy Music Store and the Saul Street Apartments is circled, so I reckon that's where I need to go. That scared the shit out of me, and it's not even a scary monster. Oh god, I thought the game was paused when I opened up the map. Oh, for fuck's sake! Okay, give me a minute. I'm gonna grab some water, and then I'm gonna explore something in the options menu because that's significantly less scary. And we're back. So, having unterrified myself for a few minutes, I've done some graphical testing, and here's what I've done. So, if you go over to display, I have turned on FSR 3.0. So, mind you, this is 3.0, not 2.5 that you get in a lot of games. This is 3.0, so it's the better one, the newer one. And I've also turned on ray tracing. Everything is set to ultra. This is the best the game can look, and I'm recording it in 4K. And the performance is good. I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting a micro stutter every now and again, and by every now and again I mean like every half an hour or so I'm gonna notice something when I'm entering a new area. But as you can see, we're moving from point A to point B here in an area I haven't been yet. Cease to exist. Okay, there's a bit of the combat. I am... it feels alright. I don't have an FPS counter up there, but I put it to you, I don't really need one. I'm hitting around 50, I would say. Yeah, it's, on average, it's going to be around 60 to 50. This is a 60 Hz TV, so there's no point in really going above that. Not really for a game like this, although occasionally I am getting those stutters. I'm playing the game on an Intel 7800 3DX. Oh, sorry, an AMD Ryzen. Ryzen 7800 3DX, and Also an AMD graphics card, the 7900 XT. Not the XTX, the XT, right. Specs are available in the channel description, by the way, in case you're interested. So, it's fine. I mean, for this system, I would expect it to perform about to this level. As you can see, yeah, there you go. When you're running, like, it doesn't like this area for some reason. There's a drop in frame rate right there. There were two, like, dips slightly. You feel that there. So, performance-wise, like I said, it's fine. It's just, it's a little bit not ideal. And so what I would like to do now is, we can test this out together. If we go over here and we, where is it, ray tracing, we turn this off. Right? And then we go back. Okay, here's what I'm going to tell you. On this GPU, specifically, with the ray tracing turned on, I think the game looks a tiny touch worse. Some of the colors, and I appreciate that this is very subtle, and I appreciate that probably 90% of what I'm talking about will not be visible on YouTube due to the, you know, horrendous compression and all that stuff, but take my word for it, some of the visuals, some of the lighting feels a little bit more washed out. I much prefer the contrast of the ray tracing turned off. The lighting looks a lot better, especially in darker areas, from what I've been testing, you know, off camera, with ray tracing, but it provides you a more realistic experience from you know, in terms of where the light is coming from, and in some of the really dark areas that looks good. That looks very, very good. Like here, it would look amazing. So let's turn it on and check it out. So right, this is without ray tracing. So let's go graphics, ray tracing on. This is with ray tracing. It's a very subtle difference, let me tell you. Of course, I do expect that there will be a bigger difference in for NVIDIA cards, that it's going to look a little bit nicer with the lighting and everything. Apartment 5 left his key, says there's a leak from upstairs, gotta check it out, okay? Got it, Apartment 5. Oh, Christ, this is terrifying. Yeah, I reckon I'll manage without the map. Although I appreciate the offer. Do you reckon I could seal this back in so I don't get jumped by something, no? Probably not. Right, here's the key. Now, I would very much like to be able to heal. Restores vitality by relieving pain. Right. Well, I could have used that all along, but I was sort of saving it for when I would really need it. Unfortunately, the time has come. Alright, let's unlock that. And head on through. Of course, before I do that, I just realised something. I realised that my audio capture's been a bit, well, it's been set up incorrectly. So what I want to do right now is I want to go into the graphics options again, very quickly, go on over to advanced quality settings and turn down the shadows, the shaders, and the effects to medium. So this is what the game looks like with that turned down. You get like double the performance for that, from that. yeah. This isn't a performance review, these are first impressions, so I don't have the professional, metrics on the side of the CPU and GPU percentages, like how much they're working, what's their, what's the word I'm looking for? Like how much they're being used, not capacity, but like you know what I mean, like how much of the CPU's processing power is being used, how much of the RAM, how much of the GPU, so on and so forth. Not a tech review or a report review or a whatever, performance review or something, just first impressions, but for now, I want to do something else really quickly. I want to draw your attention to the sound design of this game. And in a particularly creepy area like this, when there's a monster nearby, I'm going to shut up, I'm going to turn off the microphone, and I'm going to switch to just the gameplay audio. So for the next few minutes, I want you to just listen to this game. Because not only is it not afraid to give you really dark areas, to play with contrast, to play with atmosphere, not only is it not afraid of the fact that sometimes you're not going to see something in the darkness, too bad, manage it. I feel like these are all classic traps that a lot of games end up getting stuck in. So, like, they'll make the game overly bright and they'll just wash everything in the same filter, or they won't use a filter, everything will just be, like, kind of bland and grey without playing with contrast, with colours, without playing with atmosphere or anything. It'll just be monotonous and kind of boring. And everything will be visible and everything will have like a prompt and a quest marker and so on and so forth. This game doesn't do that, but for now, let me just shut up and show you the audio design, which is phenomenal. I definitely recommend if you have a good quality headset to play it with a headset, but yeah, yeah, just take a listen. freaking amazing, isn't it? Now, I don't get it. What's so amazing about it? There wasn't much of a sound. It's minimalistic, right? The game doesn't play you the 1814 or overture or whatever. It doesn't play you Beethoven's Fifth while you're running around. It doesn't have this grandiose, amazing soundtrack with horror music and creepy violins or whatever. No. The game's very immersive. It's very natural. It plays around with the sounds that are available in the environment. Wind, creaking metal, footsteps, creatures, scuttling about the place and scratching on things, the sound of rusted metal, creaking, rotten wood boards, stuff like that, broken windows, I think wind I mentioned, right? Stuff like that. The game's also very quiet, because why would it be loud? First of all, I'm trying to keep a low profile, not get half the town to come here chasing after me, trying to murder me or whatever. Second of all, it's creepy. This element of stealth, of not really wanting to be there, not belonging, trying to just, make it to the next stop, basically, right? To the next save point, to the next quest marker and stuff like that. It really, really works well, and it builds atmosphere. It makes me feel very uneasy. It makes it so that I'm now going to step out onto the roof, and I'm terrified. And I'm terrified because it's quiet. I would be considerably less terrified if it played like the, building up music for like da-da-da-da-da-da, I feel like a lot of games just overdo it. This is simplistic. It's a horror game, but at its most basic. It's terrifying. It's here to terrify you. Actually, let me just... I want to just check this as well, see if I can't. I can't because the thing was broken. Alright. Never mind. So, yeah, like, it's very basic, it's very down to earth. And it lends itself well, in fact, it lends itself incredibly well to the settings. Because I'm constantly on edge, and there's no cheap horror effects. There's no jump scares, there's no, scripted events where the game takes control away from me or whatever. No. It's all so organic and natural and immersive. I get terrified by the sounds that the town makes, knowing that there are monsters out there making that sound. I get terrified of enemies naturally moving around the world because I didn't notice one of them sneak up behind me or whatever, right? That's what I get terrified of. And not of the game taking control away from me or forcing me to look at to do something, to look at something or whatever, to, evoke a response from me. Granted, you can't really have a horror game without that, so occasionally it will happen. You do have cutscenes, you do have stuff like that, but it's not overdone. It's not... It belongs, right? It doesn't feel like it doesn't belong. It's everything in moderation. Clearly moderation, I suppose, but everything in moderation in a very, very good way. And I get that there is often a temptation to overdo things. There is definitely very often a temptation to put a few too many jump scares, a few too many monsters, a few too many, grandiose musical pieces or whatever here and there, just to, add a sense of sort of scale and seriousness to the game, but no need. There's no need. This works perfectly. Sometimes more is less. And I've seen videos of the original Silent Hill. I've seen videos of Silent Hill 2. I've also, very recently, like last month, I've seen the movie Silent Hill. The sequels are really, really not that good, but the first Silent Hill movie is alright, right? Matter of fact, I would classify it as pretty gosh darn good. And so... it's up here, right? Yeah. And so... it stays true to the original, and I know this is how it was like in the original game, except it was different, right? Different times, different graphics, different everything, so it, you know... Smash windows looking for passages. Well, yes, I know this, but... I reckon that, yeah, see, that's a bit... You say I can smash windows to look for hidden passages, and then clearly I can enter this building if I just put in a little bit of effort, but I can't. So... there is that. There is, you know, video game language telling you that, you know, you can't really go there, even though realistically your character could just step over the box that's in the way or whatever. Sometimes you get, like, very noticeable invisible walls and things like that, and I don't mind it. Again, it's sticking true to the original game. It isn't reinventing the wheel. It is the same game, just sort of, you know, remade in... the modern times, but without any of the, I'm gonna say, negative afflictions of modern games. Let's say it doesn't have a battle pass, right? Well, could you imagine? Jesus. In fact, let's not imagine that. Unlocking different skins for your weapons by defeating a number of enemies this week, and then paying $15 after the fact. Yeah, yeah, call me just a sad old grumpy man, but... I thought they would attack me, I didn't really... Yeah. Okay, I bet there is a way... I bet there's a way to hotkey this medical stuff, but he hasn't told me yet. Anyways, that's it. This is exactly how I envisioned this video. I don't want to show you any of the story spoilers, because I think a lot of the people watching haven't played Silent Hill 2. And I think most of the people that are going to play Silent Hill 2, the remake, haven't played the original. Or they've played it so long ago that they've forgotten, like, most of the story and most of what's happening. Oh dear. Yeah, yikes. If you like the game, you can check it out on Steam. There's going to be a link to the Steam page down in the description below. And it's... honestly, it's just good. It's just a very, very good remake. But that leads me to sort of a different question and line of thinking. Do we have too many remakes now? What's going on with original games? The state of the AAA industry is in disarray. It's sad. You know, there's been so many flops and generally catastrophically bad releases. Starfield, Outlaws, what was that game that got cancelled after a week of it existing? Multiplayer one. Concord, was it? Was that the name? Sorry, I even forgot the name. It was completely, like, irrelevant. And so, yeah, like, we had so many terrible releases from AAA games, from new original IPs, that nowadays it seems like high-quality remakes are the best we can do. And it's unfortunate, and I don't want to just have to play remakes for the rest of my game, because the AAA industry can't get its shite together. But at the same time, this is not the video to be discussing that, because this is such a good remake of such an old game that, yeah, I'm going to leave that for a different video. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm absolutely in love with this game. If you like it, check it out. If you've played through... the game already, I would also recommend Alan Wake. Because Alan Wake's pretty gosh darn good too. Oh my god, that is absolutely terrifying. See, that's what I'm saying. A more modern game would have put a cutscene there, as I picked that up, and it would have given me a jump scare and a quick time event. This game just put two monsters in there and said it'd deal with them. Alright. Anyways. It's bloody good. It's really bloody good. And I can't wait to finish it. I can't wait to play more of it. That's about it for me. Thank you very much for watching. Like, subscribe down below if you enjoyed, and want to stay tuned with the rest of the content that I produce on this channel. If you're feeling extra generous, there are options for supporting the channel financially down below, but by no means feel compelled to do anything. It's letting you know that if you're feeling up to it, there are options down below in terms of the channel memberships and my Patreon page. All proceeds go towards making more and better videos for you guys. So, until next time, though, have fun, take care, bye-bye, and check this game out, because it's awesome. See ya.